What's going on, family? Hey, welcome back to the EOE Network. I'm your boy T Ford. If this is your first time visiting, please take a moment to hit that like and subscribe button. All right, so what we got going on today? Today is a good one. Today is the first series of our new vlog series. Told you we do challenges, everything here. This one is amazing. After four long years and highly anticipated, I've been waiting. I stayed up all night waiting for this book to drop, and it finally dropped. 4 years ago, this man gave You Can't Hurt Me. That book was a self-published book that went on to sell millions and millions of copies worldwide. I believe the only book that was more successful in this 4-year time period than Can't Hurt Me was Becoming Michelle by Michelle Obama. I think that's the only book that did more numbers than Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. However, the wait is finally over. I stayed up like I'm waiting on a new pair of J's to come out. This morning at midnight, or actually around about 2 a.m., it finally hit my Audible account. David Goggins' new book, Never Finished, dropped. And your boy is way deep into the game right now. It's about an 11, almost 12-hour audio book. I should receive a hard copy here soon, thanks to my boy Lando. If y'all haven't already, go over to Lando Success, check out his page. It's a beautiful thing. This book so far is amazing. So let's hop into it. I'm not going to take up too much of y'all time. I'm not even going to give y'all too much of it. I'm going to give it to y'all in chapters. I'm going to give it to y'all today. I'm going to give y'all the prelude. I'm going to give y'all the opening. And I'm going to give y'all chapter 1. That's it. Then tomorrow we'll move into chapter 2. You know, this is just an amazing book so far. Now, if you know anything about this book right here, Can't Hurt Me, you know that this book was amazing. And as I told you, it was not a self-help book. It was just a book about his life on how to tap into that other 60% of your mental that you wasn't using. And get to those levels, because what he said, we only use 40% of our true capabilities, but we leave the other 60% untapped. So it helped a lot of people push past barriers. So it kind of was a self-help book for a lot of people, me included. It just helps you get over little mental barriers. You know, it helps you in so many different ways. It was an amazing book. It's one of those books where you read it and or listened to it, then you came back, you have to let it breathe, come back to it, chop it up in sections. So that's my goal for this, is to chop this up in sections for you guys. So Never Finish. This book starts off amazingly. It starts off, you know, with a quick couple good words by Joe Rogan, of course, talking his talk. Then it had a special prelude and a special, you know, message from Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, talking about how when they first met and how they connected, and how David has helped him push himself harder. He has helped David push himself to the next level. It's like that was a connection I have never seen them nowhere on YouTube, haven't seen them nowhere out and about together. I think the closest was like an NFL event, but man, you know, that's Goggins for you though, man. Keeping everybody in the shadows. You don't need to know his every move, but it's one on here that hits to the soul, and I can relate to it for the simple fact, I just talked to my brother Lando about this. David Goggins' mother came in with about a 45-second message, and you could feel the hurt in her voice, that everything he has spoken is true, and she just let you guys know, like, hey, my son has let you into our lives, the good, the bad, the ugly, the indifferent, and all the pain that he went through and that we went through together, and has been very publicly about it. But that was his way of venting out, getting it off of his chest. I talked to my brother Lando about it the other day. Lando has a great book out, Against All Odds. Go check it out on Amazon. Go find it, Against All Odds. And in the first like 2 chapters of his book, he talks about what he went through, you know, with mom's, dad, etc. And a lot of people became upset about that, and they didn't finish the rest of the book. Amazing book, but they never finished it. But that's neither here nor there. That's a different thing. You can go check out his page, and he can give you more information on that. But moving into this book, chapter 1. Chapter 1, maximize minimal potential. Now, if you guys remember in Can't Hurt Me, he talked about his issues with his dad. with Jude. He talked about his issues with his father, the skating rink, how he beat his mother, etc., etc. But he never went fully into details. But then fast forward later on in the book, he said, hey, after a couple heart surgeries, before I had to go back and see this guy, and just to get some closure in my life. That's where this book begins at, with him taking that trip from Brazil, Indiana, back up to Buffalo, New York, to go kick it with his father. Let's just say that he kicked it with his father. They hung out in that same house they grew up in, that he got beat in, that he watched his mother get beat in. They got in a car with his father and his new his stepmother, I call it that, and they went back to that same skating rink. He sat on that same couch where he had to sleep at, where his mom had a pistol up under his head, watching his dad beat his mom, where they had to clean that skating rink. That same skating rink, and all those memories came back to him, but he had to go back and face those demons. But it was at this moment of time when he was a grown man, when he was a grown man, that he had to realize that his father was human, that he wasn't the devil, that, he had became a little bit softer in his older age. But then the old things started to resurface again after they closed up the skating rink. They went to Denny's. Y'all remember that Denny's? They went back to that same thing. He just redid everything he relived everything that he did as a child, but as an adult. But the moment his dad got to start talking about his mom, he was a man now. He bowled up, say, hey man, in his words, hey MFer, hey, you're not gonna say anything about my mom. You can say whatever you want to say about my grandparents, but moms, I'm loyal to moms. Mom took care of me. Mom defended me. Mom helped me become who I am today. So you're not gonna talk bad about moms. His dad ain't had no other choice but to respect that. And that's when he looked at him and was like, hey, you know what? Let's change the subject, because his dad didn't want that smoke right then and there. So it just pretty much tells you from chapter 1 where this book is going. This book, I'm way deep in like chapter 8, but this book is amazing right now. I can tell you, it's not a self-help book, but it's one of those books that make you reflect on things like, hey, sometimes, so the message today, sometimes you got to go back into those things that haunted you and face them. It may be 10, 15 years ago, but you may have to go back and face those things. I'm one of those people who had to go back and tell certain people, I'm sorry, I hurt you. I apologize for the way I acted when I was this age. There's no excuses, but you are due that closure. So he had to go back and get that closure from his father, even though they never saw each other again after that. But he received that closure by saying, man, I needed to do that. That helps you start to unleash that other 60%, because there's no more boom baggage holding you or dragging you down, because now you're releasing all that heavy equipment that's in your bag out your rucksack. You're throwing it out. It's unnecessary baggage. But he received that closure. So if you guys haven't already, do me a favor, get on Audible, go get this book, Never Finish. It so far is fire. It's fire. It's one of those things you can't put down, you can't turn off when you start listening to it, but you gotta let it breathe. So we're gonna do this thing chapter by chapter. And yes, same person, Adam, the same person that read the first one is reading this one. They have a podcast, and of course they have challenges after each chapter, so it gets deep. So I'm your boy T Ford. This is the daily vlog of Never Finished by David Goggins. We're gonna go through this. It's about 11 or 12 hours. I'm gonna